So is it okay what is happening right now for you? Is that okay? Notice that. Just for a moment, pay attention to that experience, whatever that is, whatever is present. Notice that. Right. And notice what is present. Is Bill your name? Yeah, notice that. What happens, sweetheart, when you pay attention for a moment? What do you notice? And do you notice some silence also? Or presence? Do you notice that? Right, notice that. Notice the silence. Or presence, or whatever is the name that we give it. You see, it doesn't really matter what we call that, right? But notice that. Is it okay to pay attention to that? What do you say? Yeah, notice. Notice how okay that is. Yes, beautiful. Yes. We miss that silence habitually, see, because we are so used to paying attention to everything else. Conditioning, yes, we can call that. Used to paying attention to something else, you see. Or used to paying attention to this story, right? Or used to get you, me, or anybody else here, used to getting involved with what arises, I see. Not paying attention. Anybody here not paying attention in the everybody here? Yes, of course. And it's so powerful to do that, you see. That's why we also come together to remind each other on that. First of all, that presence is available, you see. Because we forget that, or even if you remember, it's sometimes just a mental remembrance, you know. Oh yeah, I heard that, presence is available. Yeah. Just to even remember. And the other is to learn this habit of paying attention to presence. It's what I would call inquiry. Yes. Or first of all, to notice the difference between presence and conditioning. To be able to recognize when you are resting in your nature, in the okayness of your nature, you see, when you're resting in that. Yes, and when you're not resting in that, to recognize, you see, the difference, to notice. Is presence okay? Right. Right. Notice. Because that's what you're really looking for. You see, you're not looking for anything else. Yes, beautiful. Everything else is a misunderstanding, you see. We can have so many ideas about what we're looking for, but what we really want is presence, you see. Or even more simple than that, what we really want is to be here. You want to be here just the way you are, you see. Just the way you are, not the way you're going to be, you see. And you have been here like this, being, forever, you see. We just fail to recognize that. We just don't pay attention, you see. Don't pay attention. We fail to recognize that because the habit of conditioning continuously draws your attention towards something else. You see? It's like a little carrot on a stick. There's somewhere this fulfillment, you know, if you only do this, if you only go there, you know, if you only, you know, something, right? Something other than presence, you see. Willingness is turning your attention towards presence. I say. Because presence is always available. Yeah. So if sometimes it looks like so much effort, maybe you're doing something. Maybe you're not just turning your attention towards presence. I say. So maybe there's some kind of misunderstanding, I say. Because yes, I agree, it does take energy. Yeah. Presence is here. And when I say here, I don't necessarily mean this particular room. I mean anywhere that you are. Presence. Okay. So the question is, where are you looking for presence? When I ask you, is presence here? Where do you look? What do you look at? Do you notice presence? Is presence here? Do you notice? Yes, beautiful. So the question is, where are you looking then for presence? Because obviously presence is available here. And would it be okay to bring your attention more towards the physical sensation of your body? Would that be okay? Yeah. Notice that for a moment then. Don't pay attention to the physical surroundings, but pay attention to here, to where you are. Pay attention for a moment. What happens, sweetheart, when you do that? What happens? What did you notice? Right. Okay. Right. Beautiful. That's what I call presence. You see? Effortless. Right? The moment you pay attention, you see, it happens. It reveals itself. It's effortless. Right? Otherwise, it's like you are doing something for presence. Right? And because you're doing that, you're making an effort, you see. And that takes a lot of energy, you see. And that's not what is required. That's not what is necessary. It's where your attention is going, you see. It's nothing to do with what you put your attention on. You could put it on anything. I'm just using your the sensation of your body because it's so familiar to you. You see, you understand it's much easier to use it as an example, to do it like that because it's so familiar to you. You see, but it could be anything. Yes, it's just the way you look. The way you look. You see, for it. Mm-hmm. Yes, beautiful. Yes, presence, you see. Is it okay to be present like that? Yes, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. Silence, I see. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. Notice that. Keep noticing that, you see, because that's who you are. It's such a habit, we want to look for something else, you see. Something other, somewhere, is not necessary. Mm-hmm. When you look in presence, there's no difference at all. When you look in the appearance, there will be a difference. You will appear as a different object or a different body or a different color or a different shape or a different hair or a different something, you see. Appearance, yes. When you look at that, then you're going to see a difference, yes. But when you look in presence or at presence, there's no difference at all. Presence is natural. Presence is who you are, and presence is before you believe yourself to be anything. You see? It's called presence. Before anything at all. No, just hold on a second. So many times consciousness has moved away from its natural state, and it has believed something else, right? It has believed itself to be something other than what it really is. Okay. And it has happened so many times before. So many times it has happened. Right? That somewhere you have believed that story, that you are not who you are. Conditioning. Yes. So you know what happens is here is consciousness, right? Natural state, open. Yes? And then for some reason, at some point, it starts to believe something. You see? See what's happening when that happens, right? And now when that happens, there's that holding in consciousness, right? That I would call conditioning. Yes. And a lot of the time you're not even aware of that is happening, because it has happened in the past. And it has happened so many times before that consciousness has believed that. And here you are not even aware that that's happening until a circumstance arises. I see. Something happens in your environment. And that happening touches on that holding or belief or identification or conditioning, right? And now you begin to experience the consequences of that. Right, now suddenly you find yourself suffering. And it's so easy to believe then, oh, it's happening because this and that is happening in the world, or it's happening because that particular thing is arising right now, you see. We forget that it's happening because somewhere you're believing yourself to be something other than who you are. Is this clear and simple? Yes. And it's so easy, the projection of it is so strong, boom. Things happen and you go like, yeah, we forget about this. Okay? Beautiful. You need to be willing to notice what is happening. So you need to be willing to recognize that there is something happening. Yes. An experience, a vibration, a sensation, a narrowing of vision, because that's what conditioning is, right? Here you are at peace, at ease, everything is okay, and then suddenly, boom, right? Something happens. Just the way it is, you see. Not wanting for anything to be different. Okay. And as you notice that, would you be willing to pay attention to it? Yes, beautiful. Would you be willing to notice the sensation of conditioning as it occurs, as it is present? Right. But I assure you that when you're willing to disengage from the situation and come back to presence, your seeing of that situation would change also. What happens, sweetheart, when you do that? Right. Okay. And you can only be vigilant where you are. That's called presence, you see. The moment you become present, the moment you begin to return to your natural state, now you can come from here, you see. That's a very different view than the view of conditioning, you see. Very different view.